Justin Bieber, the Oscars, a backstage panic, and a silence finally broken. That headline spread like wildfire, millions clicked, millions shared. But here's the thing nobody talked about. The 2026 Oscars, they haven't even happened yet. The ceremony is scheduled for March 15th, 2026. So how is there already a backstage panic story making rounds right now? That's exactly what we're digging into today. Because what actually started this whole story wasn't the Oscars at all. It was a completely different awards show that got twisted, relabeled, and turned into something much bigger. Someone saw something, the internet ran with it, and by the time the truth tried to catch up, the rumor had already won. So before you believe the headline, let's follow the actual timeline, because nothing here is what it first appeared to be, and trust me, once you see where this story really started, it all makes a lot more sense. Stay with us. So where did this panic story actually begin? It goes back to one night in February and a performance nobody saw coming.
Show some love for Justin Bieber.
Remember you used to drive a Yukon. I pick up whenever you call. Like in a parking lot in Tucson.
Let's go back to February 1st, 2026. The Grammys are live, millions watching, and Justin Bieber takes the stage to perform his song Yukon. Now, the performance itself, people had opinions, but that's not what broke the internet. It was his face. Between moments on stage, cameras caught Bieber looking off, uncomfortable, like something was bothering him, and the crowd noticed. Then host Trevor Noah cracked a few jokes. Nothing too harsh, but Bieber's reaction, let's just say it didn't go unnoticed. Fans pulled out their phones, clips started spreading, slow-motion replays, zoom-ins, people analyzing every blink, every expression. Within hours, the comment sections were on fire. Did you see how he looked? Something is clearly wrong. He looked completely lost up there. Outlets like Entertainment Weekly and AP covered the Grammy moment straight. Factual, professional, but on social media, the story was already changing. That one clip from one night became the fuel for everything that followed. People weren't just watching anymore. They were interpreting, and that's where things started to go sideways. Because once the internet decides what something means, it's very hard to take it back. But here's where it gets interesting. How did awkward turn into panic? The answer might surprise you.
Okay, let's talk about that moment when the host mentioned Justin Bieber at the Grammys. You could immediately sense his discomfort. Honestly, you could feel the tension in the air. He looked like he didn't want to be there at all, like he was just mentally checking out.
So we had a clip, we had reactions, we had people talking, but here's where the story takes a turn, because awkward and panic are two very different words. One describes a moment, the other describes a crisis. So how did we get from one to the other? It started with the tabloids. Headlines began popping up using words like bizarre, tormented, and beef. Nothing was confirmed, nothing was sourced, but the language, it was doing a lot of heavy lifting. Then came the body language experts. You've seen these before. Someone watches a clip, breaks down every micro-expression, and suddenly a tired look becomes a sign of distress. A glance becomes a cry for help. Each article built on the last. Each headline pushed it a little further. Uncomfortable became struggling. Struggling became breakdown. Breakdown became panic. That's called inference stacking, and it happens fast. No one lied outright, but no one told the full truth either. They just kept adding layers, each one a little more dramatic than the last, and the audience, they clicked every single time, because our brains are wired for drama, for conflict, for stories that feel urgent. The media knows this, and some outlets use it very deliberately. One word swap, one dramatic adjective, and suddenly a Grammy moment becomes an Oscars crisis that never actually happened. But how exactly did the Grammys get confused with the Oscars? The answer is stranger than you'd think. Okay, so now we have a viral clip, dramatic headlines, a story that's already bigger than the original moment, but here's the part that really gets interesting. Somehow the Grammys became the Oscars. How does that even happen? Well, think about it for a second. Award shows kind of all look the same. Big stage, bright lights, designer outfits, red carpets, fancy trophies. If you pull a clip from the Grammys and remove the logo, most people won't know the difference. And that's exactly what happened. Clips from that February 1st Grammy night started getting re-uploaded, recaptioned, reshared. But this time, the labels had changed. Justin Bieber backstage at the Oscars. Bieber's Oscars meltdown caught on camera, same clip, different caption, completely different story. On Instagram and YouTube, these posts spread fast, really fast, because the algorithm rewards engagement, and nothing drives engagement like a shocking celebrity moment. Nobody stopped to fact-check the caption. Nobody asked, wait, is this actually the Oscars? They just watched, reacted, shared, and just like that, a Grammy moment became an Oscars incident in the minds of millions. This isn't rare either. It follows a very predictable pattern. A clip travels, loses its original context, picks up a new label, and the new label sticks. Think of it like a game of telephone, except instead of words, it's video video clips and captions. By the time the original source surfaces, the damage is already done. The mislabeled version has 10 times more views. That's not an accident. That's just how viral content works. So with all this noise spreading online, did Justin Bieber actually respond? Well, that depends on what you call a response. So by this point, the story is everywhere. Millions have seen the clip, millions have read the headlines, and everyone is asking the same question. What does Justin Bieber have to say about all of this? Here's where it gets tricky, because the phrase "break silence" is one of the most overused lines in celebrity media. It sounds huge, it sounds official, like someone finally stepped up to a microphone and set the record straight. But most of the time, that's not what actually happened. We looked, we searched, and here's what we found. No direct statement, no press conference, no Instagram post specifically addressing an Oscars backstage panic, nothing. What we do know is that Bieber has a pattern when it comes to rumors. He doesn't usually address them head-on himself. Instead, his representatives speak for him. A carefully worded statement, a quiet denial, sent to an outlet like LA or EB, and those outlets reported as him breaking silence. See how that works? Someone on his team sends 3 sentences to a magazine, and suddenly the headline reads like he held a full press conference. That gap between what actually happened and how it gets framed is enormous, and it matters because when you read Bieber breaks silence, your brain fills in the rest. You imagine a dramatic response, a big reveal, something emotional, but the reality was probably a lot quieter than that. A rep, a statement, a carefully chosen word or two, and the internet turned it into breaking news. But what about the Oscars themselves? Surely they said something, right? Well, their silence might be the loudest part of this whole story. Okay, so Bieber didn't make a dramatic public statement, but what about the Academy? If there was truly a backstage panic at the Oscars, the people running the show would know, security would know, staff would know, someone official would have said something. So we went straight to the source, Oscars.org, their official news feed, their presenter announcements, their ceremony updates. And you know what we found? Absolutely nothing. No incident report, no statement addressing any backstage chaos, no mention of Justin Bieber in any official capacity whatsoever. Not one word. Now, some people might say, well, they wouldn't admit it publicly anyway. And sure, organizations protect their image, that's not new. But here's the thing, the Oscars have a long history of acknowledging real moments. Remember the envelope mix-up? That got addressed immediately, officially, on record. Real incidents leave real trails, official statements, internal memos that eventually surface, witness accounts from verified sources. This story left none of that. What it left was silence. And in the world of media, silence from an official source means something. It means there was likely nothing to confirm in the first place, because if something truly dramatic happened backstage at one of the most watched events on the planet, someone with a name and a title would have said so. Instead, the only voices were anonymous, unverified, online, and the Academy? They just kept posting about presenter lineups and ceremony logistics. Business as usual. No panic, no crisis, no incident. Just a very normal award season and a very abnormal rumor running wild without any foundation to stand on. So why do stories like this keep working? Why do we keep clicking? The answer lies in 3 very powerful words, and the media knows exactly how to use them. Let's take a step back for a second. Forget Bieber, forget the Oscars, forget the clip. Ask yourself one simple question. Why did you click on this story in the first place? 3 words. That's all it took. Backstage, panic, Bieber. And that's not an accident, not even close. Media outlets, especially online ones, spend serious time studying what makes people click. They test headlines, they swap words, they track every single reaction. And what they found? Negative emotion drives clicks more than anything else. Panic, crisis, meltdown, breakdown. These words trigger something deep inside us, a built-in alarm system that says, pay attention, something is wrong. It's the same reason people slow down to look at accidents on the highway. We're wired for it. We can't help it. And the media, they've turned that instinct into a science. Awkward moment gets 1,000 clicks, backstage panic gets 1,000,000, same story, completely different result. Just because of word choice. Now add a famous name to that headline, someone the whole world knows, someone people already have strong feelings about. The clicks multiply even faster. This isn't new either. Award shows have always been a breeding ground for chaos narratives. Remember the era of envelope mix-ups? Wrong winner announcements? Those were real moments, documented, verified, on camera for everyone to see. But they created an expectation, a template. Now audiences expect award show drama. They go looking for it. And when there's nothing real to find, some outlets are more than happy to manufacture the feeling of it. A dramatic phrase, a mysterious clip, a celebrity name, that's the formula. And it works every single time because clicks don't care about accuracy. They care about emotion. And nothing triggers emotion faster than the idea that something went terribly wrong behind closed doors where nobody was supposed to see. But here's something those headlines never tell you. There are real legal lines in media, and some of these stories are walking very close to them. Here's something most people don't think about when they're scrolling through headlines. Words have consequences. Real, legal consequences. There's a landmark case most journalists know well. New York Times vs. Sullivan. It set the standard for what counts as defamation against a public figure. And here's the simplified version. You can't state an unverified claim about someone as if it's a confirmed fact, especially when that claim damages their reputation. For public figures like Bieber, outlets have to prove actual malice, meaning they either knew the story was false or didn't care enough to check. So how do these stories stay legal? One word: reportedly. Bieber reportedly panicked backstage. Sources claim there was tension. Insiders suggest something went wrong. That language creates just enough distance. It frames everything as allegation, not fact. But here's the problem. Your brain doesn't always register that difference. You read reportedly and still walk away believing it happened. That's the loophole, and smart outlets exploit it constantly. So what happens when March 15th actually arrives? Here's exactly what to watch for, and what would finally make any of this real. So here we are, everything we've covered, the clip, the headlines, the mislabeling, the silence, it all leads to one date, March 15th, 2026, the night the Oscars actually happen. And here's the thing, maybe something does occur, maybe Bieber shows up, maybe there's a real moment worth talking about. But after everything we've broken down today, you'll know exactly what to look for. So here's your checklist. First, is there an official statement from the Academy, from a named spokesperson, from Bieber's verified accounts? If yes, that's real. If it's just sources say, be skeptical. Second, is there actual footage? Clear, unedited, with visible context, not a zoomed-in clip with a dramatic caption slapped on top. Third, do multiple credible outlets confirm the same specific details independently? One outlet running a story means very little. 5 outlets with matching verified facts? That's different, because real moments leave real evidence. Unverified rumors leave nothing but screenshots and speculation. So on March 15th, watch the show, enjoy the ceremony, but keep these questions in the back of your mind, because now you know how the game is played. And that brings us to the most important part of everything we've covered today. What's real, what's not, and what it all actually means. So let's bring it all together. What do we actually know? Fact: Justin Bieber performed at the Grammys on February 1st, 2026. Fact: clips from that night spread fast and got misread, mislabeled, and dramatically reframed. Fact: the 2026 Oscars haven't happened yet. No backstage panic was ever officially confirmed. Not by the Academy, not by Bieber, not by anyone with a verified name attached. What we got instead was a masterclass in how rumors are built. One real moment, a few dramatic words, a mislabeled clip, and a headline engineered to make you click before you think. That's the formula, and it works until you know how to spot it. Because here's the truth about viral celebrity stories. The loudest headlines move fastest, the facts move slower, but the facts always matter more. So next time a shocking story lands in your feed, pause, ask who confirmed it, ask where the footage actually came from, ask what words are being used and why. You don't have to stop being curious. Just be a smarter kind of curious. That's the real story here. Not the panic, not the rumor, but the reminder that not everything that spreads is true.